So, gonna start this post out with something you likely won't believe. And that's fine. I just need to get it off my chest. I've kept it all to myself for a long time. I'm the guy they call the Grim Reaper. Crazy, right? You probably always thought of me as that skeleton with a cowl and the sickle who kills people. Funny, I used to dress that way. The boss wanted me to. Something about uniforms. But you know how hard it is to get work done like that? Especially nowadays with these kids and their smartphones. Nah, I'm just the guy you might see in passing. I still like the hood though, it brings back memories. But I'm not here to kill people, I just here to bring them where they think they're supposed to go. Reincarnation, heaven, hell. A lot of people don't believe they should go to hell, but you'd be surprised. Paradise, all that jazz. They don't get to choose when or how, but they get to choose where they're going. A redeeming quality for me, I guess. One of the rules that doesn't make me seem like a total shithead. Let me tell you about my rules. The boss won't mind. He's supposed to be making some changes upstairs, and I don't know how long I'll be doing this for. About time I retired anyway, after all these years. So, I don't actually kill people, I'm just there at some point before they go. Sometimes it goes ugly, sometimes it goes peaceful. And you're all probably like, well, damn, Reaper, that's gotta suck. And it kinda does sometimes. I don't have any control of how they go. That's not my pay grade. But I usually do something nice for them beforehand. I spend a lot of time at bars, whether I'm working or I'm not. Hell, you may have seen me at some point, sitting by myself with some whiskey. I'm not the best company, so you just saw me as a bitter drunk. There's a reason I reside there. People often drink before they go, whether they know it or not. Usually I'll just buy one of their drinks. I'll try to be anonymous, but some bartenders just don't get it. So if I have to talk to them, I just tell them have a good night or some generic bullshit like that. I'm not allowed to try to talk them out of driving or whatever that's going to precede their departure. I often plead with myself that somebody calls them or somebody talks to them, but it's always the same. I can't interfere and somebody usually let them down. So, they'll go on their way. I close out my tab and go to work. Sometimes I gotta pull double duty if there's multiple patrons involved. Hell, a few times I had to deal with the bartender at the same time. Whether they were getting robbed or doing something stupid when they got off. I spend a lot of time with murderers, too. Usually it isn't hard to earn their trust or stay hidden. They're usually so consumed by their intentions that I don't have a hard time disguising myself as their friend or family member. I usually find the victim and pay him some kind of compliment, like how nice they look that day or something. Sometimes I'll drop off anonymous flowers or help them win some money on the lotto. A small gesture, hopefully to make their day before it all goes downhill. I'm always there when they go, so I can show them the way. Some people accept it, others get confused, some try to pretend it didn't happen. I've gotten to the point where the sympathy angle just isn't my shtick. Yeah, gotta be firm with them, or you're gonna be stuck there with them for a while. I'm sad to admit it that I've taken a form of somebody's parents just to get them to move, or promised they'd see somebody important. But it's a job, somebody's gotta do it. I ain't perfect, or I'd be making the big decisions. You gotta get them towards the light. Sounds cliche, I know, but the light makes them feel better about what's happening. Can't have people looking around, or they'll definitely see some shit that makes them even more difficult. I'm not the only one doing my job, and a lot of them went straight tragic before their transition. The cardinal rule for us Reapers is we cannot interfere in death. Usually, that's grounds for immediate dismissal. We can only guide them. We can't make it go faster, we can't make it go slower, and especially cannot prevent it. I've been doing this for a long time, and eventually some of us break down. Get a person who is particularly pleasant or died a rather unfortunate, and some of the guys turn them around and send them back, which poses a problem because technically people aren't supposed to know about the light until they go wherever they have to. Then they either forget about it or they find themselves in a place where the rules no longer apply. The reason I'm writing this is I think I'm next on the chopping block. Tried to do it real subtle like, didn't let him get too close to the light. She was a mom, had 2 kids, no job. I had been watching her for a while because she could be ready to go any day. We don't always know the exact time, we just know when it starts to happen. This lady had a rough time. I spent years with her. Between her ex trying to get her back and her drinking problem, she was somebody I really had to stay on top of. But those damn kids, she loved them so much. Even for somebody who's been around for the years I have, you felt for her. And it got me caught. She's the only one who ever didn't ask questions that I couldn't answer or try to make advances. Yeah, chicks have tried to get with the Grim Reaper. She was a great mother, even with her fight for custody. Those kids got everything she could muster. I never really felt any kind of attachment to any of my assignments, but this one was just different. She needed a break, and boss just couldn't seem to give it to her. She believed that her fate ended with hell. One of the few who truly believed that. And because of that, she was going to burn in eternal damnation. The way she went didn't help either. Her ex kicked her down a flight of stairs after she told him she wasn't doing drugs no more. She lay crumpled there, a person with so much good in her, and it all came crashing down. A fitting metaphor. As fucked up as it was, I picked her up and explained the situation, which is rare because usually you'd just corral them and get them going. But the craziest shit happened. She just accepted it. No fight, no questions asked. Almost like she saw through me the whole time. It's very rare to see somebody needed to atone, and that she was ready for it. Yeah, I just couldn't do it for her. For the first time since I took this job, I felt something. I hadn't felt something for decades, so I got caught and I broke. I grabbed her arms and hugged her. I told her she'd spend the rest of her life atoning for being a good mother to her children. Stop drinking, let things work their course. Except there's a plan for her, and that would be how she atones. She would seek redemption for her past by being a better person than she was ever supposed to be. She needed a shot, and I made an executive decision. One well beyond my authority. She didn't believe me, so I told her to turn around and pushed her away from the light. Luckily, I got out of there before anybody saw. So I'm here now, typing this up with a double in my hand at my favorite bar. You see, there's a plan with the universe. Nothing can change what is supposed to happen. However, we can alter the circumstances in some ways. But we gotta sacrifice things for those changes. While the plan may be set in stone, we may not all know all the details. And that's where I take my final sip and hit the post for this. I see Johnny over there. He bought me this drink. Johnny's always been a good worker.